Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a big one, the whole cult of living in the now.
Right. This idea that mindfulness is the ultimate goal.
Exactly. And we're diving into critique that says this focus on the present, this critique there Reinen presents, isn't liberation at all. It's actually, well, a pathological symptom of our economic system.
It's a really sharp critique. The sources basically argue that if you only live in the now, you plan no revolution, remember no historical injustice, and take no responsibility for future generations.
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy start. So it's basically reframing spiritual acceptance as a kind of political surrender.
In a way, yes.
So before we get to that diagnosis, let's unpack the conditions. Why are we so obsessed with the present in the first place? I think our sources call it the crisis of time.
That's the starting point. For a long time, modern society was all about the future. It was about progress.
Future was a promise.
It was. But that's collapsed. Now the future feels more like a threat. You've got climate change, economic precarity, you name it. It's a source of anxiety, not hope.
And so we retreat into the present.
Precisely. The present moment just swells up and becomes the only thing that seems real or manageable. And that leads to this paradox, a kind of race-endure still stand.
A racing standstill. I like that. So we're all busy, we're accelerating, but
nothing is changing structurally. We're just spinning our wheels faster and faster, but not actually going anywhere.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis of the system. In that environment, where does an individual turn? This is where the spiritual advice comes in, right?
This is the crucial link.
Yeah.
It becomes the perfect psychological software for the economic hardware.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about what flexible capitalism needs from you. It needs you to be adaptable, ready to change jobs, to have, as one sociologist put it, no long term.
To let go of the past and not get too attached to a future plan.
You got it. And what do figures from Krishnamurti to Eckhart Tolle teach? Let go of past and future. Live in the now. It's a perfect fit.
And this gets even more pointed with Tolle's concept of the pain body, the Schmerzkörper. How does that privatize politics?
It's a fascinating mechanism. So if you're suffering, let's say, from stress because your job is insecure, or from the pain of systemic racism, the pain body concept reframes that.
How so?
It's no longer a structural problem out there in the world. It becomes an entity inside of you, an unreleased personal emotional thing.
So the problem isn't the injustice, the problem is my reaction to it.
Exactly. And the solution is always internal. Observe your pain, accept the situation, don't resist. You can see how that immediately neutralizes any impulse to, fight back against the source of the pain.
And from there, it's a very short leap to the corporate world. Mindfulness.
Oh, absolutely. It gets packaged up and sold to companies like Google and SAP.
But the goal is different now.
Completely different. It's not about enlightenment. It's about boosting resilience and performance.
So it helps you tolerate the 60-hour work week.
Instead of questioning why the 60-hour work week exists in the first place, it makes the toxic structure bearable instead of forcing the structure to change.
Which leads to this incredible term, functional doomheit. Functional stupidity.
Yes, the argument is that the mindful employee who's been trained to just observe their critical thoughts instead of acting on them is the perfect worker.
Cognitively functional, but critically
Lobotomized. They're great at the how of their job, but they've stopped asking the bigger moral questions, the why.
So if this dictatorship of the moment is the problem, how do we fight back? How do we repoliticize time?
The sources suggest we need to reclaim a sense of duration, of responsibility. Think of Hans Jonas's work.
His principle of responsibility.
Right. He argued for a Fernsten, like a sort of love or care for the furthest, for future generations. You can't do that if you're trapped in the now.
You have to be able to think into the future. And he also had that idea about the heuristic of fear, didn't he?
Yes, that you have to imagine the worst possible outcome to motivate yourself to prevent it. The opposite of just blissfully accepting the moment.
And then there's Hannah Arendt, who connects this directly to politics.
She does. For Arendt, political action requires dour duration. It's all built on making and keeping promises, laws, contracts, agreements.
Things that bind us over time.
Exactly. And a person who only lives in the shifting feelings of the moment can't make a binding promise. They're fundamentally, you could say, unpolitical.
So the takeaway for you listening is that real presence isn't about escaping time.
No. It's about being able to hold the weight of the past, memory, and the responsibility for the future right here in this moment.
Which leaves you with a really challenging question, I think. If your spiritual practice teaches you to accept absolutely anything, What is left that you are willing to fight to change? Is your mindset truly serving your own freedom, or is it just making you a more efficient, flexible part of the status quo?